Alright, it's time to talk about all the winners and losers from this patch, and there are a lot of them. A lot of losers. Look at all those losers out there. Yeehaw, Jake, your resident content cowboy here. Let's do this. Let's start with a winner that is near and dear to my heart. And why wouldn't we start with a winner? Because there are some huge winners in this patch. The first one being Pikachu. Pikachu got a buff to its Thunderbolt build, and now it's way more in line with something like Alolan Ninetails, where it is really strong early, and it's been strong early for a while, but now it kind of has this role as a long-range area of effect damage mage that actually works really well with the newly released curse items. These are just so incredibly good with big area of effect mages. Pikachu is a great example of this, especially considering Thunderbolt and Thunder are essentially the exact size of a goal zone. They might be the exact size of an enemy goal zone, and you can really dominate your opponents early with these, and you can also catch Pokemon that play at extreme range like Mewtwo Y, as opposed to something like Alolan Ninetails, who kind of needs Mewtwo Y to come on in so it can hit it with that combo and stop it with the avalanche. Stop it with the avalanche, hit it with the combo, put down the little area of effect. Pikachu actually can just throw its stun at pretty long range, the Thunderbolt, and then line it right up with the Thunder. So I've actually done really well into Mewtwo Y with Pikachu. The buffs to both of those moves paired with curse items, I feel like Pikachu is actually doing so much better. It kind of got the Alolan Ninetails treatment that A9 got like 2 patches ago or something like that. Speaking of Alolan Ninetails, let's talk about a loser in this patch, Alolan Ninetails. Sorry, buddy. But you know what? It isn't really that bad for A9. It got a cooldown adjustment, but I still think this Pokemon is doing incredibly well. You actually could run curse items on this as well if you would like. A9's doing great. It got a Unite move buff. It got damage buffs. It's fine. Don't worry, Alolan Ninetails is fine. It really was casting its moves so much in so many big fights. I don't think A9 mains have much to worry about. This is kind of a loser in the patch because it got nerfed, but it really wasn't nerfed that hard. Let's talk about another clear winner, Gengar. Wow, it just feels so much better to play Gengar right now. I think the biggest thing I'm noticing with Gengar is I feel like I'm actually surviving in a ton of moments that I wouldn't have otherwise. And Gengar got a ton of nerfs. I said Gengar got a ton of nerfs. That was an accident. I meant buffs, but my brain was like, it's Gengar, it's bad. It must have got, it's like got nerfed or something like that. No, Gengar got a ton of buffs. It got a buff to its defense, its special defense, and its special attack. Just all around nice little bonuses for Gengar. And it's weird because these speedsters are always on that razor's edge that I talk about, where if you buff them just a little bit, they start to become crazy overpowered, and if you nerf them just a little bit, they start to become useless. Time will tell whether or not Gengar is going to be one of the most OP Pokemon in the game. I still don't really think it's in that kind of realm yet, but without question, it needed buffs, and it got them. And I'm surprised that this slight tune-up right here has made the Pokemon feel so much better. Let's talk about another loser of this patch, and this is one that I think surprised a lot of people, and that is Zashian. Zashian got a weird change. I don't know if it's a bug, I don't know if it's an intentional change, it wasn't talked about in the patch notes, but it's actually a huge change to the way this Pokemon works. I have a video of it that I'm working on, or it's either up on my channel, depending on when this video drops, but basically, it's passive Intrepid Sword, kind of the big reason you are playing this Pokemon. Well, it has a lot of things that are really good, but one of the big reasons you use Eos Energy to empower your moves and your basic attacks. Now it doesn't charge instantly when you tap. You actually have to hold for a moment. And at first I thought this actually doesn't seem like that big of a change. I was playing a match with it, everything was going fine. But in some of the more intense fights, there were a lot of moments where I couldn't get my Intrepid Sword to charge fast enough so that I could use the move that I needed to use and win the fight. And actually, it feels like a pretty huge nerf to Zashian. It's weird, but this small mechanical change, making it slower to use your boosted attacks and boosted moves, could actually be a big nerf to this Pokemon. I would say without question, this is a surprise loser of this patch. We've talked about surprise losers, now let's talk about surprise winners. Intellion somehow came out of this patch with a weird buff. So Intellion's move Liquidation always would get stopped by crowd control effects. You could stun him out of it, you could knock him up. There were lots of things that stopped Intellion from going pew 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 pew. Help me, I can't stop. Pew 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 pew. Uh-oh, something's wrong with this model of Jake. Pew 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 pew. Hold on, I'm gonna reboot this guy. Ooh. Whoa. What was I talking about? Intellion's Liquidation. Oh, right. It goes pew pew pew. Don't. Okay, sure. So a lot of times you would get knocked up or stunned while that was happening. And now, just like the demonstration that I provided to you, it kind of doesn't happen as much. There's still a few things that stop Liquidation, but not everything. It was interesting. I was playing Intellion yesterday, and Fire Spin from Delphox, it did stop my Liquidation, but other things did not. I was getting hit by Blastoise's Surf, didn't stop it. There were just multiple things inside the game that weren't stopping Liquidation like they did before. Is this a buff? Is it a bug? It's unclear, but one thing is for sure, Intellion is better right now because of this change. Here's a fun one that's a winner from this patch, Aegislash. And it's not only this patch, to be fair. Aegislash has gotten buffed multiple times recently. A couple patches ago, we saw buffs to Aegislash's shield form defenses as well as Shadow Claw, and now this patch we're giving Aegislash more attack while in sword form. Basically, shield form's better, sword form is better, Shadow Claw is better, all that put together with curse items, which I really like the curse bangle on this Pokemon. With curse items, I think Aegislash is doing a lot better. It's kind of the Goodra treatment that we're seeing right here, where it didn't take one patch, maybe there will be one more Aegislash patch to kind of finally push it over the line, but in general, it feels like this Pokemon is doing so much better after these two changes came to its kit. Let's talk about a loser in this patch, but not in a huge way, but maybe bigger than you would think, and it's gonna take time to tell, but that is Umbreon. Umbreon got a nerf in this patch to Snarl. It needed a Snarl nerf. Snarl is too dang good. I don't think people realize how good Snarl is, even after it got nerfed before, and people were like, oh, we should play Wish. No, you shouldn't. Snarl is insane. It stuns for way too long. It removes stats from your opponent. It's so good. So Snarl got a nerf, and it needed one, but that's a big change to Umbreon, as well as these curse items. Maybe these curse items will actually be a huge benefit to a Pokemon like Umbreon because you're always up in your opponent's faces. You can use them with your basic attacks to apply an insane amount of healing reduction to your opponents. But Umbreon is a Pokemon that recovers its own health really well and has an HP recovery move. So the curse items might hurt Umbreon more than we think. We're gonna have to see. I know a lot of people expected Lapras nerfs as well, but I think these curse items might be a Lapras nerf in and of themselves, considering that this Pokemon does a lot of HP recovery. Let's talk about another group of winners in this patch, actually two groups, and that's mages that do area of effect damage, which is essentially all of the mages inside the game, and then auto attack damage carries like Cinderace, Duraludon. We're not going to know exactly which Pokemon are going to benefit most from the bangle or which Pokemon are going to benefit most from keeping something on like a scope lens or a rapid fire scarf, but without question, there's definitely more viability, especially when you're having coordinated play inside of games, to pick something like an auto attacker that is able to continuously apply healing reduction. These curse items can be very powerful, and you'll notice a lot of moments where you can dive opponents' goal zones or fight them in ways that they just wouldn't expect because you are reducing so much of the healing that they would normally receive. I don't know which group is going to benefit more. Right now, I'm feeling like it might be leaning towards the sort of area effect mages inside the game, but without question, the curse items help both of these categories. Here's a big loser from this patch, without question. Mewtwo X, a Pokemon that was already getting dumpstered by Mewtwo Y, and now it has received more nerfs. Did it deserve the nerfs? Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, maybe Absol won this patch. I don't know. Probably not. But Mewtwo X got more nerfs. Mewtwo X deserved more nerfs. I can't really tell you if Mewtwo X is in a reasonable spot yet. It's probably still quite overpowered, but it has to deal with Mewtwo Y and the fact that it's getting more and more nerfs. The nerfs are deserved because this Pokemon is still better than most everything on the roster, but it's not better than Mewtwo Y. And let's talk about Mewtwo Y. I think unquestionably the winner of this patch is probably Mewtwo Y. Mewtwo Y needs a ton of nerfs, like a ton. This Pokemon is crazy overpowered. It's way too simple to use. It does so much damage. It's absolutely dumb. You charge Mega outside of combat. You charge Mega with ranged attacks, which is so easy to do. This thing is absurdly broken. It is still absurdly broken, and it did not got nerfed enough at all. It really didn't get nerfed enough at all. Hopefully next patch we will see Mewtwo actually being brought back down to reality. I really hope so. But Mewtwo Y, it got a slap on the wrist. It's worse, and you can feel it inside games, which is cool, but it really needed more. And our final winner for this patch is all of you at home. I kid, it's Zarina. Zarina is our final winner. This Pokemon has been struggling for a long time. It got multiple buffs. You see it in many more games now, and it feels a lot more formidable. I don't know if it was enough to make it as, you know, equivalent to something like Mewtwo X. I would say probably not. But at the same time, Zarina needed a lot, and it actually got a lot of buffs across the board. Defense buffs, special defense buffs, healing buffs on both of its moves, as well as shielding buffs on both of its other moves. I could have worded that better, but let's just leave it in like that. Will it be enough for Zarina? I can't say, but I can say I see them in a ton of games now, and honestly, it feels like it's fighting so much better. The few matches that I got to play with Zarina felt a lot better than Zarina did last season. Small changes, but maybe they might be enough to move this thing from the bottom of our tier list. So there you have it, the patch's biggest winners and losers, and a few things that you might not expect. What's something else that you think got changed that is actually a huge winner or loser from this patch? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I love you very much, and I will see you all soon. Hey, Nerf Mewtwo.